Okay, since you're already comfortable with Rally, since you have already used it, okay, so you know more, more like the Rally, how it's going on. I've also, I think I've given you access to Jira too, okay. So you guys are so comfortable with the Jira, okay, you know how to, create issues, create tasks, create test cases, okay. Um, so, this two test management tool should be good. Okay, that should be enough. But to be in a safe side, like somebody requested, like no, we also need HPLM because the places, some places like they are using HPLM. That is Hewlett Packard Application Lifecycle Management. Okay, that is upgraded version of Quality Center. Okay, so we'll go through this HPLM. So this is another test management tool. So total 3 test management tools. What I have discussed so far with you guys is 3. One is Rally, the other is Jira. Now today we'll discuss about HPLM. Okay. Okay. So somebody, okay, so let's quickly check. Somebody said like, they have created, homework, but by mistake they have put in different user story. So let me quickly check. So you guys need to do some homework, right? I mean, so that, so someone did in this one. Oh, good. I mean, there are 8 defects. Okay, so here's the one thing I want to make clear. Okay, so you have done good. I mean, here's the thing. This is, see, whenever there is a dependent user story, right? You see this US 151 and underneath is 152. See, this is a major, the project which is going on. See, you need to write under this. So let me quickly check if it was unclear in my homework that I have given you. Let me pretty much see here. So you know what? I've actually given you the right thing. See this user story 152. You need to write on US 152, not on US 151. See, here is the thing. I've given you clear information here. Should be only under 152. Okay, so you are missing that information there. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, okay, good. You have written. So. Pretty much check. Okay. So so make sure you are reading what information what is being provided. You cannot you cannot ignore that information because this information may be very important. And whenever it comes to you and you ignore it and do it something else, that will, that will, cause a serious issue. So, next time make sure, follow the instructions. Okay, so, we'll go through this. We'll go through HPALM. Okay, so HPALM is actually not, used that widely that it used to be, because it's, it's really, it's really getting obsolete day by day. But still, we'll have a look. We'll just see, how does it look like, and we'll just if for access for this, if you need access to HPALM, make sure you guys check with Tagore. Okay, so he will be giving you access to HPLM. Otherwise, these two are good. Jira, Rally and Jira. So both are good. Practice both. If you really need, more tools, go ahead and get access for this HPLM. and mostly, hopefully 26 is the last, right? So 26th, I'll be giving you one more test management tool that will be a TFS, Team Foundation Server, that's from Microsoft. And we can, I mean, I'll try for that access. That's a little bit, a little bit complicated from Microsoft because Microsoft is not really, is not so generous as the other tools that we can give access because if it is used by one user, it has to be get access to that IP address. So that's a little bit, it has convoluted access issues. Okay, so let's talk about this HPALM. So here, you'll be having different modules. Okay, let's talk about these modules. You see this on the left sidebar. You see this lot of dashboard management requires a lot of modules here. Okay, so here what we will be having access is to read-only access to requirements. Since requirement, as you know, requirements are created by business analyst or product owner, not by testers. So you will not be having write access for this. You will be only having read access. Okay, so this is the requirement section. And what you will be accessing is a test plan, which you'll be having write access to this, test lab, okay, and the defects. As a tester, you will be having three major access to this: test plan, test lab, defects. Okay, and the requirements is to view the requirements, not really to write anything. You really are not allowed to write, and you are not supposed to write either. Okay, this is not your job. Okay, unless you are a business analyst. Okay, so here once you have this access. Okay, so let me be clear about this test plan and test lab. In the requirement module, you will be viewing requirement, just viewing it. Okay, nothing to do this, just look at it, that's it. Test plan is where you write your test cases. Test lab, where you execute your test cases. Okay, this is a little bit confusing part here. These two are really, I mean, they could have done in one, and it have much easier. Like Rally is pretty user friendly. This is not. Okay, trust me, this is not. Once you get access to this, even after it takes like 2-3 months to understand why they just put this. Okay, so this is really confusing part here. But you cannot write test cases in test lab, so that's the simple thing. Test plan, you write the test cases there. Test lab, you execute the test cases. You cannot execute it in test plan because there's really nothing to execute there. Okay, and the defect section, where you open the defects just like you do it in Rally or Jira. Okay, so that's about this sidebar. You see this left side sidebar? That's what I was talking about. Okay, so let's go to requirement section. Here, if you see this, any questions in this? So normally you don't have access to all these. Okay, management. This is not. Of course, you will not be doing any management stuff unless you're your manager or something. And this is normally have the access to Scrum Master or manager, mostly manager. Dashboard is more of a Scrum Master access, and lab resources. Development is for more of a developer access, and so you will not be having all this access. Performance is completely different thing. A different team will be having this access. Okay, and so these are like pretty much access things which you really don't have in the real time, but luckily you have here, so you can view it, but really not your job to do anything in that. Okay, unless you want to become Scrum Master or you want to become manager or something like that. Otherwise, this is really not the thing to look at it. Okay, so here when we come to the requirement section, so somebody asked this question, right? Does Scrum Master have access to all the options from? Not really. Not all the access. They don't have testing access because testing, see, of course, what is the job of Scrum Master? Scrum Master is to remove the impediments on developer. Of course, these guys have developer access, but not testing access, because Scrum Master is normally a developer guy. Okay, they can view this, look at this, they can really change it, but really they will not change it, because it's not their job to change anything, to put any environment. That is completely developer job. Okay, the coding guy, the guy will be doing that. Web developer, HTML developer, Java developer, ETL developer, is their job. Scrum Master just looks into it, although they have access, but not really to do anything. Okay, just to view or so that's. But they will not have access. Only they can have view access to test plant and test lab, but really they will not have any access to execute any test cases. Why? Simple. They are not testers. They are Scrum Master. It's not their job. Okay. Simple enough. So okay, let's go to our requirements. So here you have a lot of requirements. Okay, you see there's a lot of requirements here. Once you figure it out, what's the requirement is, what is your requirement? Let's say, let's see. I have. Once you figure it out, what exactly your project you'll be working on, and which project you'll be working on. Oh, I had some. Okay, good. Okay, so let's see. I have this requirement, GMO requirement. Okay, so we'll just stick to GMO unless if you want the other requirements, go ahead and look at it. Here you have this. Okay. And again, as I told you, we are not allowed to change any of these information here. If it is there, that's there. That's it. You can view this. If there is an attachment, go ahead and look into this attachment. What the attachment says. It has any functional requirement. If it has any, screenshots and something like that. Go ahead and link defects. If you really think this this is related to some defect, you look into this. What defect is really related to. Okay, RTM will go through this pretty quick. What is RTM? Requirement traceability matrix. Test coverage. This is for the look for manager, like saying that how much the test is covered and how much is required. So it's not really our thing to do this. Our job is to look through these requirements and see what's going on and what's the information here. And if there are any comments, okay, there's not many comments. Here, look into this, and you see there's only the small information. Normally, you have a lot of information, maybe 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, which you may not always understand that, because as I told you, requirement is always made in sense of a lot of people. Okay, project manager, developer, architects, and business analysts. A lot of people views, look into this requirement. So it's not necessary that you can understand whole 3 paragraph or 4 paragraph of a complete requirement at once. It's really not required and not even necessary, because what's your job is to look into what the requirement is and what to test on it. Okay. So here, I have the simple information here, like, okay, so this is to need to test this. Okay, good. I understood the requirement. Now, since we don't have any documents, will depend on this web page. Let's say if the web page is already ready and we are good to go. And okay, good. I found this. This web page and it's ready to test. So as I told you, it's not necessary always that the web page has to be ready. Okay, so you need to depend on documents, not just see here we made it easy. It's easy for you, but really it's not that easy. You might look into documents, BRD documents. You need to because this URL may not be ready at the point of which you are writing the test cases. Remember, when in SDLC process, you will be first writing test cases, not testing. So first, when you're writing test cases, in that stage, this web page may not be available at that point of time. So you need to depend on requirements, functional requirements, BRD, business requirement. If there is SRS, look into that. if you are working on ETL, look into mapping documents, okay, STM, source to target mapping, or look into the source documents, look into the target documents, all those things. You need to look at a lot of documents, not just looking into this information. This might not be helpful. Writing this. Okay. So any questions so far in requirement section? This is simple requirements. You're not allowed to do anything yet, just to view these requirements. If there is any attachments, go ahead and look into the attachment. That's it. Requirement traceability, we'll go through this pretty quick once we go into test plan. Okay, so let's go to the next module, that is test plan. Okay, so here you see this, a lot of projects are going on. Okay, a lot of projects are there. And again, you need to figure it out which one is really belongs to you. Okay, so this is, I know it's in HP, and there's little, this little complex part here, right? Once you figure it out which project you are, okay, so there's a lot of projects, okay, Amazon, e-commerce, so you really don't know how many people are working, what they are working, how they are, it's little bit chaos here. But here what I recommend is, once you figure it out which project in this, let's say, let me first figure it out. Okay, good. Let's say this is my project, right? This is my project, and I know I'm writing test cases all in this project. Now, what I do is, let's say this is the name of the project, and I will create my own directory here, okay, or folder, whatever you call. Okay, just like people have created. Remember, the name. So what you can do is, you can go ahead and let's create one. So what this help is, if you create with your name, that means you're working on it and you easily able to figure it out. Okay, even you can add some filters, and you can figure it out how to, because there will be a lot more project than this. Okay, and exactly, just put this name. Well, and I just want to put my name. Let's see if this gets okay. Good. So this is really not the order. You can just try to do refresh, so it just comes to order. Good. Okay, good. Now you have this. We are going to create any test cases here. Okay. So let's see if there is something. No, it's some empty. Okay. Okay. Now, what you're trying to do here is to create test cases. Okay, so now your job here is to create test cases. What you do in test plan is just only creation of test cases. Okay, you can go ahead and create new test. Okay, so what you're trying to do here is, you actually trying to create the framework for your test case. Okay, let's see if I can. So what I'm trying to do is, just close this, click on this, and so I want subdirectory on this. So I'll just create on this and just put this name. Now here you need to put the information. We go to the medium, priority, medium, reviewed, not reviewed. So these red colors should always be filled. Okay. Here we don't have many, but creation date. Okay. Who is it? Designer. Who is the designer for this test case? And reviewer, if there is any lead. Okay. Let's say if there is a lead, I want to put the lead name. So that that person would actually will be reviewing my test case. Status, what's all about, design. We'll just put this design test effort. Let's say 10 hours. Test priority. You can leave it blank. If there's anything, you just put as medium. It accept anything, it accepts. So let's try this. Okay. It was integer. So let's put this 2. Okay, good. Okay, so I've successfully created a test case framework. Okay, this is kind of framework because whenever you want to create, you have to create this framework. Okay, now this is actually, this is, you see this, mini lock icon. That means it is checked in. I'm sorry, this is checked out. You need to check in. See this option here? You need to check in. Okay, first let's view this. Automatically test ID is generated. Version, okay, good. Version is good. If there is any description, why are you writing these test cases? You can go ahead and write that. Now I want to go to the design steps. Okay, so here you can design steps one after the other. Let's see if I can do something here. So you know what? I'll try to copy this information here. So let's see if that works. Copy steps. That's what I'm going to do. And click on this and paste it here. Oh, that's great. Okay. So now what I exactly did was that's what you will be going to do that because that's what it is required most of the time. Once you create your test cases, that's fine. Most of the time you really are not required to create from scratch. Your boss or Scrum Master will say, okay, why don't you take some of the test cases and why don't you edit those test cases? So that's what you are going to do. Just go ahead and click on previous test cases or whichever test cases you are looking into it, which you need to write your test cases. Just use this control option to select all the test cases and click on this copy steps, and paste it right here. Just click this option. So this is easy, okay, because most of the time that is what you'll be going to do. Normally it's you're really not required to write the test cases from scratch because normally they don't do it at the first time. But yeah, if it is really required, you need to follow this process. Remember, I told you the 3 scenarios that you need to work on: positive scenario, negative scenario, and boundary values. Whenever you're writing test cases, make sure those are covered here. Okay, here, I'm not actually, putting here, but, in the real time, you need to work on those 3 scenarios: positive scenario, negative scenario, and boundary values. Since we have already created test cases, so I'm not going into that into more detail. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead, you can ask questions in writing test cases. Okay, so here you can, paste it. Once you paste this, you're good. So we have successfully written test cases here. Okay, and let's go to the next tab. Parameters. Let's say if you are using an automation script. Okay, let's say you're doing regression testing. At that time, this is important if you want to consider some parameters. For a QA manual tester, it's really not required. Attachment, I think this is, I don't even know why they have put here because really it's not really required. Unless you're writing QDB script, but again, you have in test lab, so this is really not required. Test configurations, requirement coverage. Okay, here we go. Okay, now let's say if you have written test cases, now you're good. Now you want to, before executing that, you want to do RTM, that is requirement traceability matrix. Now, what is that exactly? That means, what does that RTM means? It means all the test cases are at least covered by one requirement. Okay, so whatever test cases you have written should at least cover one requirement. Okay, so let's see how we do that. Okay, here you go into this requirement coverage tab, click on select requirement. So, when you do this, you are actually trying to navigate what? Requirement section. Now, we know which project we are working on. GMO, it's good. You know what? This is my requirement, and I can do this. Add to coverage. I'll just pull it here. Yeah. And okay, good. So, whatever the sub-user story has come that, and close this. So what exactly I did, that means I'm mapping all my test cases to that requirement. Okay, so this is the requirement. Okay, I'm mapping those test cases. So, what happens, who really benefits with that? This is normally for business analyst who looks into it. Okay, there are test cases for this, we can proceed with. So this is for analysis purposes. Okay, not for any testers or anyone, but this is for analysis. This is called RTM, requirement traceability matrix, where you want to make sure all the test cases are at least covered by one requirement. Okay. And if you want to remove it, go ahead and select this and you can remove this. Okay, good. So I wanted this, so here it is. Okay. Now this is requirement. Okay, so now what happens, right? You go to the requirements. This shows the RTM right here. What you have to do. So, go to test storage and refresh it. Okay, not that. Okay, this one. Okay, good. So this is what we are talking about, right? So this is linked here. So now I can see this, 11, and this is no run. Okay, good. So we are good. That's about that requirements coverage section. And if you want to go ahead, link defects. I mean, I don't even know why this is here. Trust me, this is really not required. This link defects attachment section is really, if you ask me, it's really not required here. Why? I'll, just let you know, because this is pretty much confusing if you want to navigate here. Okay, so make sure you don't even worry about link defects and attachment section in the test plan section. Not really required for anyone. Okay, and which is dependencies. If you have any dependencies, okay, in history, we want to check history. So that's about creating test cases here. So what we do really in test plan, we only create test cases. Okay, at the max, you just do the RTM matrix there, requirement traceability matrix, where you want to link with that requirement saying that all the test cases are match at least one requirement. Okay, now we'll do this last thing. We want to check in. Go ahead and click here. Oops. Now these are all checked out. What's mine is 453 and I want to check in. Okay. Okay, good. I want to close it. Now you see this. The open lock thing is gone. You see this? That means I checked in that my test cases inside the ALM, so that makes sure, that means I'm going with this, that is really my test cases, and I'm going through this. So that's what it means by checking. If it is not checking, that means you are going to add something or edit something, but that is really not included in this. Okay, so that's the reason for check in and check out. You can check it out too. You click here, go ahead and click on undo checkout, or you can do that. So any questions so far? So in the test plan, just remember two more important things, that is writing test cases and requirement coverage. That's it. Just don't bother about any other modules, okay, except that history. If you want to see the history, okay, good. I want to see that history. Don't worry about attachment link defects, because this gets pretty confusing in the later part. Okay, so if everyone are good, let's move to the next topic. Any questions in test plan? Okay, good. Let's move to the next one, test lab module. Okay, so here again you need to start from scratch. So that's the problem with this HPLM, that you always need to start from scratch from everything. Okay, now what we did in the test plan is we created, remember we created a directory here. Okay, now here too you need to do this. Okay, I don't know for what, but you need to do this again. Okay, now let's say you figure it out, the same project again. Okay, the project should be again duplicated here. Let's say if I have that project here. I hope we deleted it. So what, I can also do the search here if I want to. Oh wow, it's not working. So what you need to do is, oh good, here you go. Okay, good. Luckily if you found project, okay. So this is, because this is, you know, test lab and this is test plan, so that's a problem. Okay, you need to create, you know, this is called double, you know, you're doing double work. So that's the reason in Agile this is really not recommended, because you have a lot of other work to do rather than doing the duplicating work. So here you're duplicating the work. Okay, you need to create the same thing again, you know, this lab, figure it out what project you're working on, and now let's say you figure it out this. So here again, I would recommend to create one more directory. If you want, you go ahead, or you know, here I don't require directory because I know what I'm working on. I know the whole project, and I'm working on the whole project. Nobody else is working. No regression team, and no, so that's good. So what I do is, otherwise you need to create this directory and put here that functional testing and all those stuff. But no, I'm not going to do that. Let's say, okay. Since we are duplicating this work, let's do this. You know, click on new test set. So again, what I'm trying to do here is we are trying to create a framework. Okay. Okay. So this is not accepting this. So what we are trying to do is, I go ahead and click on this. Click on test set. Okay. Good. So what to put here is event one. Okay. Okay. Good. And this is my project. Okay. Now again you need to, okay, we can go ahead and, you know, if you have any functional default, we'll stick to default for now. Okay. And if you have baseline, go ahead and click on that. Okay, good. So you know which is the release and which, you know, which release it's going on. Okay, you want to do that? Change that. Okay, today's date. Good. Changed by, it's me. So I'll just put that. Close date, that is 26th, and created at, so that will be today's date, and created by, so that will be, okay, no, okay. Okay, you need to fill out all this information. Remember, red mark, the red color is always mandatory. You know, just take one maximum run duration. Just put as, you know, 10. And responsible, who is the responsible guy? It's me. So I'll just put a QA tester. Status, you know, it's open, target cycle, test code. Good. Now, description, if you have description, again, go ahead and provide the description, you know, what you're trying to do here, executing test cases, you know, and click on enter. Okay, good. So we have successfully created, uh, maybe this is something. Okay, so we have created a framework, not really any test cases here, but here what we did is we created a framework. Okay, so here you have this execution grid is nothing else here. You cannot execute this. There's nothing to execute here. Okay, what you need to execute is the test cases what you have written in the test plan. Now, how do you bring up here is the question. So click on this, select test. So whenever you're doing this, that means you're navigating this through test plan. Okay, so this is a little complex here. If you don't understand, let me know. So here you are actually navigating this to your test plan and look into it, which test cases you have written, and go ahead and click in that. I'll pull up here. Oh, wow, that was a serious error, right? Oh, so let's do this. Oh, there's some issue here. Let's open this. Jesus. I need to change this thing. Click on OK. Okay. So, okay, good. So maybe now it should be good. Okay, good. You know what? So that was really not required in this scenario because that was a different project altogether. So I put some baseline. So baseline is really not required. Okay, so that's the reason. Once I removed it, this successfully, it transported the test cases. Okay, so here, what I'm trying to do is I pulled up all the test cases what I have written in the test plan. Okay, because in HPLM we cannot execute test cases in test plan. That's why we need to go to the test lab. Okay. Now here you have all the option here. See this, you have successfully imported all the text, all the test cases here, and there's the execution flow. You can go ahead and look at it. Here you see this attachment. So here you need to put an attachment, right? Whenever you execute all the test cases, here what you need to do, not in test plan. Remember, test plans nothing to do with attachments, because whatever the screenshots, whatever results, you need to put it here in the test lab. Okay, don't get confused with the test plan. Nothing to do with any attachment in the test plan. Okay, because if you do it by mistake, that will be a mistake, because you will never recognize where did you put the attachment. Okay, you'll get confused. You already put the attachment, but you cannot find out, because that is the case. Because if you put in the test plan, you never do it in the test plan unless you are sure what you are trying to do. Okay. Then if you have this automation, so if you are doing any automation or regression project, go ahead, click on any of this. If there's any required link defects, so we'll talk about this, and this is history. Okay. And now again, to be honest, this is link defect is nothing to do with this. Don't even bother about that. Okay, that's really not to link anything. If you want to link defects, double click on this. You see this link defects, you need to put it here, not there. Okay, just to make you understand again. So this is nothing to do with anything. This model is not supposed to be here. I don't know why they put, but if you want to link defects, make sure double click on that, which test framework you are using it, then link defects here, right here, not there. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, now let's execute this. Okay, now let's so once, let's say we have done this and we have completed all this, let's execute this. Now you can go ahead and click on run. Okay. Okay. Again, I need to click on run. Okay, good. Now, let's say, enter the URL in the Firefox browser. Let's see what it's trying to do. Okay, so I've opened my Firefox browser, and what the test case is saying me to that, I need to put it here. Okay, good. So I'll just put it here. Now, the home page is displayed. Okay, good. So what I'm trying to write here, home page of GM is displayed as per the requirements. So you need to check with the requirements and see this. Is it yes or no? Click on this again. Pass selected. Good. Now enter GM online. Okay, you need to click this button. Good. What happens? Okay. So online catalog page is displayed. Online catalog page is displayed as per the requirement. Okay. I want to again pass this. Click on this. Okay. Put the 10, here, and the same thing, click on place order. Page is navigated to place an order. Okay. Page is navigated as per the requirements. Okay. And pass selected. Okay, good. Now put that information page. Okay, so I'll be going. So you need to do this parallelly. Okay. You are doing executing the test cases, put an application before, and you need to execute it. There is no way to escape that. Okay, once you get used to it, you might execute the test case first and execute the test case later. But really, that's once you get an experience, that's really not required because your work will be monitored here. So, page is actually a billing home page. So I'll just show you. We cannot do this. So let me quickly show you. Okay. Let's say there is a defect here, right? I mean, let's say we put it some defect here, like shipping and handling fee is not showing as per the requirement. Let's say no, finished. Okay, and I want to fail this. That is right here. And let's say if I want to fail one test case, whole set gets failed. Okay, so there's nothing like just only one fail you can execute. There's nothing like that. Once if it is failed, whole test set gets failed. Okay, so I want to stop it. So end done. Click on this button, this block. So here you see this fail. The whole step is failed now, just because one step, the last is failed. Okay, so here's you got you have failed here. Okay, so now since this is failed, we need to open defect. Okay, any questions so far in the test lab? So we'll go to the defect section pretty quick. So remember again, link defects really not to worry about this. Link defects, this is nothing to do with this, because if you link any defects here, you'll get confused which test case you're working on, which project you are working on, because here I'm showing only one set here. This will not be one set. There will be 3-4 sets. One is Firefox, let's say one is Safari, the other is Chrome, the other is Internet Explorer, and so on. So there will be like 4 to 5 sets. And if you want to link defects here, now you don't know which that belongs to. Okay, so don't bother about this one. This is really not required. Okay. Oh yeah, of course, you should. Somebody asked, right? A question, can we attach screenshot? Yes, of course. Again, don't attach screenshot in the attachment section. This is not really required. If you want to attach, go ahead, click on this. Here you go, attachment. You see this? Here you need to attach. Okay, not this. This is only for your distraction. This is nothing to do with any attachment or any link defects. Only distraction. Trust me. You'll get confused if you are using this buttons. This is really not required in HP or HPALM tool, but they did it so somehow. But you know, this is how you need to do. If you want to attach something, click on this, double click, and this pop-up window opens up. Go to attachment and attach the screenshots here. Okay, here you need to do. Why? Because if you attach here, that means you are attaching to this set. If you're attaching something here, that means it's nowhere. Which one are you talking about? It's kind of, because you'll be having a lot of sets and which attachment and what are you talking about, So that would be the scenario if you're attaching here, because it's really unrelated to that. Okay, so if everyone are good, let's move to the next topic, defects section. Let's go to the defects pretty quick. Any questions? Any more questions? Of course, I forgot the attachment part. Somebody reminded me, that's good. You need to attach screenshot, okay? As I shown you in the rally, we'll be doing the same thing in the rally too, right? Okay, you can compare, okay, here too. Let's compare, okay? So that it's easy. If you're using too many tools at once, it's easy if you want to compare because you're doing the same thing actually, okay? But only a different user interface. That shouldn't stop you, in just your test cases, right? So let's compare here, okay? What we were trying to do is here, go to the test case. Okay, you see this? You know what? Okay, here you go. See this? Okay, you see this doc one, Okay, doc one, so they attach attachment here. The similar way, you need to attach the same, execution process, the same screenshots. What are you trying to do in this attachment section? Okay, make sure you're doing the attachment section. Here you have the option here. Attach and attach it here. Okay, and don't do it here. Okay. Just a reminder. Okay, so let's go to the next topic pretty quick. I'll finish this pretty quick because we have only 15 minutes. Okay, so here, this is the defect section. Okay, so this is the defect section where you can open defects. Although you can open defects right from here, where in the test lab, okay, you know what, you go to the link defect and you can open here, add a link defect, or you can do it in the test plan module. Really, that's not really required. We'll not talk about that. Although you can do that, go ahead and click on, and yeah, you can do this from here, and but this is really not required. Just for your knowledge, we don't do this. Okay. So, and once you do that, you can open defects right from here. Let's open a defect here pretty quick. So, again, back to our basic, that is one-line statement of what actually the issue is. And oops, this is a serious problem. Okay. And which project does it belong to is the small information on that. And is this any critical defects? So you want to open as critical issues or production issues, something like that. Okay, now fill up all this information again. Assign to is who is the exact developer who is working on. Okay, I'll just put some name. And browser, which browser did really defective, and what is the category? Yeah, we'll just put a defect. Who is the whom it was detected by? Its name. Detected in version. If you know the version, right? Go ahead and write it here. On date, this is February. No. So let's put this today's date. And estimated fixed time. It's not really. We are not going to fix it. So, is it which language is this? If you working on different languages, go ahead and put on that. And priority, let's go ahead and put a medium. Project, which projects, we need to put all this information, okay? You cannot skip this. Here's the problem here, okay? If the status is new, you can only open defects on the new status, okay? You cannot open defects on the open, okay? Now you need to change it later. That's, we'll show it. I'll show you how. Because in Rally it was easy. You can open the status from any actual status, but here you can't, okay? This has some rigid functionality. It's not flexible for agile. Okay, is it reproducible? Yes or no? If it is yes, then screenshot. If it is no, even though screenshot. Okay, and subject. This is in subject here. Okay, this fixed time. Developer fixes that, and all this developer job detected in cycle. If there's any cycle, go ahead and set cycle. So let's stick to 2017 release 1, cycle 3. Environment, what environment is this? Test environment, staging environment, developer environment, or production environment. Okay. Target cycle, which target we are putting on. Make sure to do that. So 2017 release 1, cycle 3. Okay. Okay. Now description. This. I'm trying to order large quantities, shipping and handling fee. Okay, and please see the attachment for more information. Okay, so luckily you have this option here too. Let's put it, take a screenshot since we want to do it in Firefox. Okay. Screenshot, and just want to see, here's a good thing about HPL is you can take screenshot right in front. Let's see if that works. No, we use that one. Or it's this. We want to highlight what exactly the issue is, so we want to use this color and show it. This is the option. Okay, let's use whatever is required information. Click here, new, save. Okay, so if I put it here, just put it this. Otherwise, you know what? Okay, let's attach this, not screenshot. Load image. Here you go. You see this camera option? You can take a snapshot. Okay. So let's do this. Okay, you put it here, snapshot, and okay. Let me select that. Okay, good. Oh, okay. So here I want to is highlight this. So I want to highlight this. Oops. Sorry, I messed up. Highlight this. See? Okay, good. Oh, that's good. And add. You see this add? Oh, good. So here, I've taken this. So this has a pretty good option here. Okay. Where you can use this camera option, where you can, use that and, so here I really didn't use that one because this is the only good feature what I find in whole HPLM is that you can use your screenshot right in the tool. There's a tool, and inside the tool itself there's a camera option where you can take a screenshot. So could not be better than that because no other tool has that option. Okay, now just close this. Now, here you see the status, it's new. It's not new, it should be in open status. If you put in new, now the same issue, the same issue that when you have open a defect, why are you putting in the status on new? It should be open status. Okay, so that's a very simple thing. And okay, once you do that, let's get updated. Okay, good. So now this requires more information since we put in and change the status from open. I want to put subject, it seems. Okay, okay, good. What subject is this? Okay, now if we just, I hope this works. Okay, good. Okay, good. So I've successfully, opened a defect, but you see this is not linked. If this is not linked, then which test case does it belongs to? So we don't know. Then that's not good. Okay, you need to link this defect. Since in Rally, Jira, everything was we are doing in all into one project, so it was automatically linked. So you didn't worry about it linking those defects. Here, we need to link manually. Okay, go ahead and click on this test case. Okay, test set. Again, go to test lab. Click on this. Link defects. Go to link defects and link here. Oops, not this. I just want to link by ID. Remember this ID 155 or 175. Okay, so here we go. Click on this. 175 and link it. Okay, so click on OK. Okay, so this is linked and it will show, here this is the link. Okay, so to show that you need to always refresh it, refresh all. Okay, good. Now it's showing this icon, saying this chain icon. You see this? So that means now you know that this test case is linked with this defect. Okay, so whenever you click this icon, chain icon here, it automatically redirects to that, and you can click on that, the defect number 175, and here you can go here, right here. Okay, so that means, okay, so here also it's supposed to show that. Let's, let's do refresh. Now it will be showing that. Okay, good. Now this icon shows that there is an attachment. This icon, chain icon, shows that this is linked. So linking is very important in HPLM because here you need to do it manually if you are opening in the defect section. If you are opening right from execution test cases, it gets automatically linked. But since we didn't open in that session, you need to open this manually. Okay. Okay. You need to link it manually. Okay. Any questions so far in defects? So here is for your attachments. Okay. That's right. If you are opening a defect, that automatically gets generated for you. That ID. So somebody asked, right? Does this defect ID gets automatically generated? Yes. The answer is yes when you open a defect right from here. Okay. We don't know the defect ID unless it is get generated. Okay. Here it's easy because okay, now I know if I want to open it's 176. but in the real time, there are thousands of people who will be accessing this, and you really don't know what your defect ID will be. Okay, so you don't know really. So once it gets generated, make sure you link it. Okay, that you'll be linking here. Go ahead and click on here and go to link defects, and you link it. Okay. Any more questions? So, here you have this option, a lot of options in the defects. You can comments too. Okay, you have these comments. Then you can link different entities. Okay, not only just link test cases. You can also link your defects. Let's say there are 2-3 defects which are interrelated to each other. That means if that defect gets fixed, this defect gets fixed too. So in that case, you want to link this other defects too. Okay, because sometimes let's take an example here. Okay, you went to the developer, you opened a defect, and developer outright rejected that defect. Now the developer said, no, this defect is already there. Now your job is to find out which defect is. Now sometimes if he's a good guy, he will tell you. If he's not, you need to figure it out which defect is this. And once you get the information about the defect, you need to link that defect to this one, so that you're making sure once that defect gets fixed, your defect also should get fixed, because that's interdependent defect. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a dependent defect. Okay, okay, so you can also do that by linking it. Okay, so you can so here if you can also link requirements. So basically you can link anything you like. Okay, requirements, test cases, other defects. Okay, you can do that too. Or go to the defect. Okay, here you can do this. Let's say you want to link it 174. I want to link it. Good. So I link this 174. That means if 174 gets fixed, this is supposed to get fixed. Okay. So that's about the linked entities, and you can link almost anything. Okay. You can also link requirements too. So go ahead and link the requirement ID. So this the reason for requirement, right? Sometimes when you create a defect, that becomes requirement because the defect is too big to solve in one release. So it takes too much time. So they make it that defect as a requirement. Okay, so that's the reason you need to link this defect to that requirement. So that's the major reason to link that. Okay, so any questions so far? So this is our mostly what we'll be working on: test plan, test lab, and defects. And requirements. Requirements is only used to view the requirements, nothing else. So that's all about HPLM. If you need access to this, check with Tagore. Okay, you can get an access. But I guess you guys have 2 access, right? One is Rally, the other is Jira. Go ahead and practice that. You can also look into this, understand this the similar way. What you will be doing: creating test cases, executing test cases, reporting defects, so on. You can compare if you want to see, okay, this is how it's done in Rally, this is how you can do it in HPLM. That's good, because good, Rally better. Okay, so you might want to compare it, and since it's same, the process is same, so you might only just figure it out how to use the tool, not the process. Okay. Any questions? Okay, if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today? So tomorrow, we'll go pretty quick on QTP. We will not go in detail, but we'll just have a look, introduction class. It's just kind of introduction, so that you'll have some idea if you want to go as a regression tester too. You can go ahead having some basic knowledge on QTP. Okay. So if no one has any questions, can we close this class for today?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you guys.